Alrighty, guys. It is 3:30 this Thursday, January 16th, and we got a range-bound day today. Um, that's kind of where we started off this morning with thought range-bound. We were looking for early strength. Didn't get much early strength. I think all that happened in the overnight. That was kind of a concern that we may have had in the morning, but it turned out to be true. All the early strength happened in the overnight, and during the session, we just been getting a very sloppy range-bound kind of a session. Still holding support though. I mean, they haven't taken out 65s. They've done probed it a couple of times. They're right back up here at the 85s. So they are kind of right in the middle of this range. Um, the 6,015 to 35 to 40s, that area of resistance has barely been tested. And I would say we start off range bound going into tomorrow as well. The news this morning wasn't that crazy in terms of being able to move the market. It was a mixed bag. The reactions were not that strong, so not much to say about that. For tomorrow, though, we get housing starts and permits at 8:30. We get industrial production at 9:15, and that's it. So I doubt those numbers are going to be really moving the market either in a big directional way. So chances are we're going to look for more of a range bound day tomorrow as well. So starting off range bound, looking to sell strength, 6,000s, 6,015s for rotations back down. Looking to buy weakness at this point down at the 59.75s and at the 65s for rotations back up. The last one would be at the 50, 55 for rotations up. If they trade below it, I would be looking for a retracement trade all the way down, back down here to test these lower areas at the 59, 10 to 12. So watch that level. The key area 50 to 55, a low of yesterday's session. We never tested that today, but if they start trading below that, I would be leaning in on the short side, looking for that retracement trade. And if it takes out the 15s, I would lean in. I would lean towards the long side. I would still be mindful about potential support at 30s and the 40s for rotations back down again. So that's kind of the dynamic we're looking at. We're going into tomorrow's trading. So there you have it. No trades on the ES. I did have a knockdown, drag out kind of freaking trading day on the Nasdaq today, though. I tell you, remember what happened in the morning? Let me show you. So Nasdaq. Well, first of all, let's go before we get there. On the bond side of things, bonds is up here at the 113. Took it out for one level higher. The bond market is further been taking out that 113 edge, and I could really set the yields back down again. So the lower PPI CPI reads definitely has the bond market in a better mood. So they are definitely trying to trade higher. The yields are coming down a bit, so that's it. It's supporting the stock market. On the Nasdaq though, it's been a knockdown drag out. Look at that freaking thing. Early on this morning, I had the first trade I took was getting myself caught in that short, and it got me down in the hole like 80 or what was it, almost $100 or something like that. And so I was sitting here with that thing, and then I had two shakeouts trying to get short again, and there was a brutal squeeze on the upside, and it didn't work out for me. I tried another short trade, this one here. I got a little bit out of like $30, but I was long short. I had to fade a ton of heat on that one. I was borderline, and then it finally went. I tried one more trade later on, and the same story there. After that, it looks like they were stalling here at the resistance. So I tried a short trade, and of course, they ran it all the way up to the mode. I repaired it there, and I was sitting here twisting it. And it's like, oh God, this is just getting myself caught again. And they ran lower, and I managed to get out right in the nick of time for a little bit of a reprieve. And then finally, I had one more trade here on after that last rundown to support. I missed this thing. I was kind of looking at it, but I was a little bit too slow, and they really ran that lower, so totally missed the whole thing. On the way up, I was looking for a long trade after they started retracing past the a couple of resistance areas. And of course, that caught me too. So I had to repair that one. I had to fade a ton of heat again. Managed to get out of it. So I pretty much made my money back, but I had to fade a ton of heat today. That was no fun at all. So I'm pretty much back to zero at 10 round turns. And so that was like a wasted day. But man, that's trading for you. So instead of giving up with a $120 loss or $100 loss, whatever I had this morning, pretty much back to zero. But man, I had to work for that, and I had to fed heat for that as well. So that was a tough one. So Nasdaq been brutal today. Looking at oil and gold. But anyway, so yes, on the Nasdaq as well. Before I go there, yes, range bound trading, same story as the ES. Look to sell strength again at this point against the 425, that ledge, against the 465s, against the 500 for rotations back down, and then looking to buy against support 320s, 270s for rotations back up again. If they trade below that volume edge at 270s, I would lean in on the short side and see if they can run it even lower. But I think that's a key edge to hold. All right. So that is Nasdaq range bound trading on ES and Nasdaq going into the overnight. And then finally, oil and gold. I double checked my stuff, and you can see on oil, this is the last trading day on oil on the G25 contract. We're rolling to age 25 for tomorrow's trading, and there we have it. So tomorrow's trading H25. You can see how this is thinning out. It's getting really sloppy here at the end. So it's rolling over already. So yes, be very mindful. Roll oil to H25 for tomorrow's trading. But I would look for bias to the downside. I think the oil is going to start retreating now when it's getting closer to the weekend, and no more major surprises, I think, coming on oil. But you never know, right? So we don't know until we are into Tuesday what's actually happening on the oil market. But I think that's going to be a big reaction on Tuesday morning after they're done all with all their executive orders and stuff like that. Gold, trade out from the long side of the market. Initially, look for early strength, but I would say if they're not going to blow this up and take it higher in the overnight, I think they're just going to stay in this range around 27.50. So look for that early strength. If it doesn't happen, just go back range bound. Look to buy support 43s down to the 39s. Look to sell strength 55s up to the 58s for rotations back down again. All right, so that's gold. Back to the ES. So no trades on the ES. ES has been even worse than that. Well, not as volatile, but it's as Nasdaq. So, but I think you may have a better shot at trading the ES today. But you can see here that's been like brutal. It starts taking its height and get this run down like this. This is just algo stuff running you back and forth and really crushing the whole thing. This bar on the ES is 83 down to 76. So it's like an 8-point bar or 8 to 9 point bar, 7 or 8 point bar. This next bar here is 10 points. So these are big freaking bars. And I mean, you're on the wrong side of that. You're gonna be pressed from fading some heat. So anyway, we'll leave it there for now, guys, and I will see you back bright and early in the morning. You guys have a good evening. Later.